So either we can start with the good news or we can start with the bad news. Let's go with the bad news first. You always want to end on a good note. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Denver Broncos. Eagles controlled this game pretty much throughout. But you had a feeling that the Denver Broncos wasn't going anywhere. Not to mention this was a bad officiated game. That's not the reason why the Eagles lost, but it was a bad officiating game. But when you abandon completely your running game and play one-dimensional, they completely abandoned giving the football to Saquon Barkley. And credit to the Denver Broncos defense because they weren't giving him no cracks to slip through. They was jamming up the line of scrimmage. They were on Saquon Barkley. They didn't want him to make a difference in this game. That point was understood. What it really comes down to, Denver Broncos made the plays down the stretch and the Eagles didn't. You're up 15 points with, I believe, about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. 15 points. If you're the team you want to be, you win that game. Denver Broncos shouldn't have came back and won this game. You're up 15 points at home with about 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and you allow this team to come back because you're sputtering out on offense. Abandon the running game, trying to get the ball to your wideouts, which I have no problem with. Yes, we need to have a balance, and we need to throw more. But putting the running game on the back burner, the cause of it, nobody's going to agree with that. Saquon Barkley, 6 carries, 30 yards. And he averaged 5 yards a carry off 6 carries for 30 yards. That's no running game. To me, you listened to the hype all week long and you had in your mind you was coming in this game, you was going to have an air attack. You was going to air it out. And you haven't won that way all year. Saquon Barkley should never have single digits in carries in any game. In any game, 25 to 30. They didn't want it. They played sloppy, in my opinion, for the penalties. Now, some of these calls, I mean, you had the fourth down conversion, which was huge right there. That play right there could have propelled Eagles for a win to Devontae Smith. They got called back on a shift, offensive motion shift. Okay, you had that coming down the stretch. You also had an intentional grounding that wasn't called, but then they talked about it. Then they called the intentional grounding, and then they come back and they pick it up, which was, in my opinion, an intentional grounding. And I'm going to tell you why it was an intentional grounding. Yes, you had a receiver in the area, but it was obvious he was trying to get rid of the football to avoid a sack. That's what makes it intentional grounding to me, because he had him in his grasp and he kind of just whipped around and wanted to get rid of the football. If he wasn't engaged by a defender, I'll say no intentional grounding. But when you're in jeopardy of getting sacked and you don't even know where your receiver is, you're just slinging it out there, that's intentional grounding. So that was a big play. The fourth down play to Devontae Smith, they got called back for motion. Then you have an intentional grounding. Then what do you know? You get another penalty on a late hit on Bond. See, all these things are adding up. Not to mention the big play to Goddard that was questionable, that could have possibly been a pass interference, depending on what angle you got. Because at first when I looked at it, I was like, no, that's not no pass interference. But when they showed the direct line shot, front shot of the play, you see he had his shoulder pad. He was holding and grabbing onto it as the ball was arriving. So you had all this stuff going on. You can't win ball games like that. And once again, Eagles didn't lose this football game because of bad calls or penalties. They should have took care of their business early in the ball game, which they did, but they allowed them to come back in the second half. Fell apart. Couldn't make anything happen. Didn't establish a running game. Let's pull up this box sheet. Don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to pull it up. Bo Nix, 24 for 39, 242 yards, 6.2 on average, had a touchdown pass, been sacked twice, 87.8 on his rating. Good game by Bo Nix. Started out a little rough, but he hung in there. Hung in there. Made the necessary throws he needed for his football team. So Bo Nix, I'm a fan of Bo Nix. So he played a hell of a game in this one. I'll give that one to him, and they needed it bad. Their running game was pretty decent. J.K. Dobbins, he had 20 carries for 79 yards, averaged 4 yards a pop, and a touchdown. So you can't salt that. And Bo Nix himself, 3 carries for 22 yards on the scrambles. So they had a semi-balance. To me, for his rushing yards, if your running back rushes for 70 yards or more, he done his job. To me, 70 yards or more for a running back, he mixed it up a little bit. You helped out with the passing game, which gave you a pretty much good balance. They didn't have a 100-yard receiver. He came close. Cortland Sutton, he had 8 catches for 99 yards, 12.4 on average, no touchdowns, but he had 10 targets. So he produced. And then you go to Jalen Hurts, 23 for 38. Sometimes you don't see Jalen Hurts throw that many times, close to 40 attempts. But when they're running and sticking with the run like they should have, you wouldn't have to worry about Jalen Hurts having 38 attempts. But you know he's capable of doing it. He can put the ball up. But when you have no running game at all, and this offensive line is not what it used to be right now, still a little banged up. And some people will say, well, that's why they abandoned the run, because their offensive line is not in full force like it should be. I don't agree. You run that man until he hit his head on a bark tree. Do you hear me? Something's going to open up later on. Let them honor that. You do not give a guy like Saquon Barkley 6 carries. Let's check out team stats real quick, and we'll get out of here with this. Go to the Texans. Now, what are the key stats we always talk about on these team stats? Number 1 is third down efficiency. That's a big one you want to look at. Look at the first downs. 23 for the Broncos, 16 for the Eagles. Then you come down here to third down efficiency. 5 for 16 on third down. Look what the Eagles were on third down. 2 for 11. That's not going to get it done. Not going to get it done. And it showed up in this ball game, and that's one of the reasons why they lost. Okay? I don't look at total plays that much, but look, 70 plays to 55, the Eagles. Passing yards, 228 to 257. That's not a big margin. But look at the rushing yards. 130 to 45. 130 to 45. All right? And this is why you can't say the Eagles lost because of bad penalties, right? Bad refereeing, because the Denver Broncos got penalized more than the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. 12 penalties for 121 yards for the Denver Broncos. 9 penalties for 55 yards by the Eagles. So you can't use that for an excuse. Okay? Denver Broncos took down the Philadelphia Eagles 21-17 at home in Lincoln Financial Field. Get themselves together because they got a quick turnaround. Thursday night football against the G-Men, the New York Giants. Better get their rest and try to come with a balanced attack in week 6. Houston Texans. Houston Texans. This is what we vision all year long. This is no surprise to anybody. We expected this type of play week 1. The only problem is we didn't see it. We saw another team out there, didn't know what they were doing. New offensive coordinator was lost. Defense been stout, but they forgot how to tackle. They forgot how to get off the field on third downs. CJ Stroud play call sheet on his wristband was blurry. You thought an old dog like Nick Chubb was going to run you through the whole season. What have the Texans done? They start leaning on their young players, their rookies. Now, they think it's shameful to start Woody Marks at running back. I understand that. You know, they want to have this hierarchy and all this kind of stuff. Let these veteran players have their spot. I understand. It's only a matter of time, though. Don't put Nick Chubb in there on passing third downs. There's no need for that. But the bottom line of all of this, that they realize that they need their young players, and you're seeing a lot of them. especially in the receiving game. These guys are making a big difference on the offensive side of the football, the way it should be. The defense got back to tackling. The defense got back to getting off the field on third downs. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, we know the pieces they're missing in this game. Big time players for them, including their quarterback. But to me, a win is a win, and you get it how you can get it. And you don't have no mercy on anybody, especially the Baltimore Ravens, because you haven't been able to beat them in their building. They've owned you. So you don't have no time to wipe a tear for them. You go out there and do exactly what you did. Put a dirty leather boot in their ass. The way it's supposed to be. I'm going to pull this one up as well for the Texans here. 44-10. Best game of the season. That's not saying much at all looking at the first 4 weeks. But CJ Stroud, I'm going to applaud you in this one. Been taking a lot of heat. It's only going to be brief because it's a long road ahead. 23 for 27 for CJ Stroud. 244 yards. 9.0 on average. 4 tutties, folks. 4 tutties. 0 interceptions. An offensive line. You gave up 2 sacks. 2 sacks. I'll take that any game. Any game. 99.3 QBR for CJ Stroud. 143.9 on his rating. Outstanding game by CJ Stroud. Outstanding. Nick Chubb leading the rushing with his 11 carries and 61 yards. 5.5 on average. Got him a touchdown. Nick Chubb looked real good in this game. Real good. The big scramble by CJ Stroud came very close getting a touchdown. One angle, you thought he did get in for a touchdown. But who thought he had that kind of scramble in him? 30-yard scramble. That was big time. Woody Mark, 7 carries for 24 yards. He didn't have many opportunities. That was clogging him up. But still featured this guy. Nick Chubb is an older guy, injury-prone guy. You want to keep him fresh down the stretch going into the playoffs as well. Run the young fella. It's not going to hurt. Run the young fella. Keep Nick Chubb fresh. Receiving Christian Kirk, 4 carries, 64 yards. Decent by him. Dalton Schultz, 5 catches, 60 yards. Decent by him. Nico Collins, 4 catches, 52 yards. Decent by him. Jaden Higgins, 4 catches, 32 yards. Decent by him. Do you see this? This is spreadage, folks. This is what you call sandwich spread. Pickles, chives, everything you want on your sandwich. They did that. CJ Stroud was an equal opportunist. Do you hear me? If you're open and you got a pair of hands on your wrist, I'm going to give you the football. That's what this is. Cooper Rush, and we know about Cooper Rush with the Cowboys. He's the ultimate patch-up man. In this game, he turned the football over. He was 14 for 20, 179 yards, 9.0 on average. No touchdowns. We had 3 picks. One thing you don't want from your backup quarterback is to turn over the football. He did that. Cost him dearly. Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 33 yards. Oh, my goodness. 2.2 on average. 1 touchdown. 7 was as long. Do you want to give a round of applause to this Texans defense? Huh? Is that the definition of swarm? I would think so. I would think so. Zay Flowers, 5 catches, 72 yards. Nobody really got off. Hey, DeAndre Hopkins, former wide receiver for the Houston Texans. How are you doing? Sad to see you leave. Blame that on Bill O'Brien. I know. 2 catches, 46 yards, 23 on average. He didn't have a breakout. Nobody had a breakout on this swarm defense. Houston Texans giving up 10 points. 10 points to the high score of the Houston Texans offense. 44 points, folks. Can you believe that? 40. Fix your mouth to say 44. Houston Texans offense, 44. Y'all getting applauded this week. But it is one game, and you have to build on it. And we understand that.